So you know how it's the future? Just an insane way to start a conversation. People always joke about bottling feelings. I need them to start doing that. Well, if they could do that, what feeling would you be sipping on? That's also an insane sentence. Dude, you're telling me you wouldn't open a can of Nick Robertson scoring a goal for the first time in forever, chug that thing, and then smash it against your head? I'm upset how much sense this is making. Get SDPN on that. Good for business. Let's go! Do you have a humiliation kit? This is all I ask you to do. I'm having a great finger flick. You're allowed to show up. This team is ruining my life. I'm taking crazy pills. With you, wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Victory, puppy Ziggy! We took him to the vet today because he didn't eat for 2 days, and it cost over $1,200. Let's see how good those drugs are. He's cured! Over $1,200. I love you, though. I think get back here. Oh, puck don't lie, Stripes! Leafs win! Ought to have been 4-2, but 5-3 over the Tampa Bay Lightning. It really was a game in 2 acts. One of those acts was only 5 minutes, so let's talk about it. The first act of this game was the part where the Leafs demolished the Lightning basically all night long. The first 2 to 5 minutes of the game, the Lightning had a couple chances. They really tried to force Joseph Woll into screwing things up and giving up the puck, and he almost did a couple times, but almost is not actually doing it. Now, this game on the schedule was notable for a couple reasons, because over the last 24 hours, both teams' rosters look very different. Tampa Bay Lightning, no Nikita Kucherov. That is a huge problem on account of he's very good. Toronto Maple Leafs, no Alex Steeves, because they finally get back Austin Matthews and Matthew Knies. They basically get a line back. No disrespect to these two players, because I actually think both of these guys had an unbelievable game tonight. But William Nylander's line mates last game were Pontus Holmberg and Nick Robertson. William Nylander's line mates in this game were Matthew Knies and Austin Matthews. I'm sure even Holmberg and Robertson would admit that is one of the biggest upgrades in human history. And wouldn't you know it, the two guys returning got points on the Leafs' first goal. The Leafs were chaos in front of the Lightning net the whole night. And this, you know what's funny? The Leafs beat the Lightning in a playoff series a couple years ago. I don't know if you know that. And since then, the Leafs have done very well against the Tampa Bay Lightning in the regular season. I don't know if you know that. But what's wild is this Leafs team might actually be better suited to beat Tampa than the one that actually beat Tampa. Because what got the Leafs to beat Tampa the first time was shots from distance on Andrei Vasilevsky, and of course, going to the net! Playoff-style goals! Matthew Knies, Ryan O'Reilly, Noel Acciari, who were all on the same line, were key in making that happen. Dudes who would go to the net. But that's only one piece of the pie. You gotta have Morgan Rielly having an unbelievable season from distance, unbelievable series from distance. Mitch Marner was very good. Austin Matthews was very good. William Nylander was very good. I mean, who had a bad series that series? But this team is every bit as good from the back end and from the perimeter as they were a couple years ago. And in front of the net, they're way better. Like, they are not fun in front of either nets, although late, they could have been better in front of their own net. They won! Anyway, it's on the perimeter. Chris Tanev gets the thing from Austin Matthews. Tanev puts it on, and it is tipped perfectly. Matthew Knies. Go to the net! Dude, look at. It goes 5-hole, and then the Selly, he loves scoring there. Do you mean 5-hole, or do you mean in Tampa Bay? Yes. From Mark Masters, since losing the NCAA final at Amalie Arena, Matthew Knies has 3 goals and 5 assists in 7 NHL games in Tampa. He says, it's still bittersweet. He says of returning, I still have those memories haunting me in the back of my head. It's definitely getting better. It's trending upwards. I shouldn't be saying this, but what the heck? I'm not your therapist. I hope it haunts you forever. If that is the sort of performance you are going to have because you hate that building on principle, I hope you hold on to that hatred forever, Matthew. And that gives the Leafs a 1-0 lead, and that is how they head into intermission. No! Breakaway on Joseph Woll! What? Insane save on the breakaway. And Joseph Woll, who's cool as a cucumber, just skates to the bench, and he gives a couple fist pumps, and it's fine. Kind of like when there's a snowstorm, and you skid, and you don't pull over. You just sort of go, all right, I'm alive, and keep going. You know, How you do? So, how will the second period go? Better. With one caveat, Jake McCabe takes a puck to the back of the head. He was down and did not return to this game. Thankfully got up on his own. And I can't help but feel like it jinxed it a bit, because I was talking to producer Drew before the show, and I talked about how the Leafs, even though they've had a bunch of injuries, their defense pairings have basically been the same this entire time. And now Jake McCabe is out. So, this is Saturday. There's Sunday, they have a day off, and then their next game is on Monday. The Leafs having injuries in November, especially the later half of November, was cute and everything, because they barely played any games and they could just rest guys, and it was fine because they wouldn't even miss that much time. Ryan Reeves got a 5-game suspension like 2 weeks ago. He still hasn't served the whole thing. That might have been game 5? 4? I don't know. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter because you can't play defense. Injuries in December all of a sudden become a little more concerning, because in December, the Leafs play, despite the Christmas break, 15 games. Yeah, you pay for it eventually if you basically don't play games for half of a month. December's busy. January's pretty busy too. And then February, not all that busy because we have the Four Nation face-off, but in the entire month of February, go ahead and guess how many home games the Leafs have. It's one. One the entire month, and it's involved in a back-to-back. It's not great. I guess what I'm getting at is all the wins that the Leafs are banking now, good. So what do you do if Jake McCabe doesn't play on Monday? Well, Morgan Riley's playing with Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Both those guys shoot left, so you could do Morgan, Oliver Ekman-Larsson on the left, and also Simone Benoit. If Yanni Hakanpää plays, you obviously play him with Morgan Riley, and that makes it easier because then you have Tanev down with OEL. Yeah, we could do that. And then Timmins with Benoit. Okay, that's nice and easy. If Hakanpää can't play and it's Philippe Myers, who is still a person who exists, the Leafs just don't play him, but I mean, because they've been doing very well, then what do? You probably do Riley, Tanev, Ekman-Larsson, Timmins, Benoit, Myers. Ooh, they're big. One is better, is what I'm saying. But in the meantime, the Leafs have to play the rest of the game 5D. But one of them is offensive juggernaut Chris Tanev. And can I just point something out? I did a book signing at the Eaton Center in Toronto today, and I signed a lot of books. I also signed some other stuff. People ask me to sign all sorts of stuff on this book tour. I have signed not one, but 2 babies. That's not even a joke. But today, I signed a Chris Tanev jersey. I've never even seen one of these in person yet. And they responded, looks like your signature was a lucky charm today. Thanks again. Great to meet you. My son is annoyed I forgot to ask you to write, stick it in the net on the shirt. Stick it in the net is not exactly what I say. No, you know what? No, it is now. Stick it in the net. I can't. Anyway, to make it 2-0, Chris Tanev sticks it in the net. All because of the dogged work of actually a brilliant line that Craig Berube put together. Like, okay, the Leafs get Nyes and Matthews back. Holmberg is still in the top 6. It's wild. But in this game, he had a purpose. The whole line had a purpose. They were going to outwork their opponent. I love Robertson. Robertson had a good game too. But you put him on that line if this is a video game. It's not. Nylander, Matthews, nice. What does that line do? They're better than you. That's what they do. Marner, Tavares, Holmberg, they're also better than a lot of lines out there. But what do? What's their identity? Marner is a great skater and really smart and has a brilliant stick and can pass and can shoot and can kind of do everything. So he's great. Tavares, is he going to lose a puck battle? Probably not. So you got a guy who's going to take the puck off you with speed. You got a guy who's going to take the puck off you because he's basically a kangaroo out there on the ice and you can't knock him over. So your line is the line that is impossible. You exhaust your opponent. You are smart on the defensive end of the puck. You use defense to generate offense. That's what Holmberg did all night. And that's what he did on this goal. He helped win a puck battle. To give you an idea of how dogged the effort was, this is John Tavares like 2 seconds before the goal happened. Sitting on his bum! Mitch Marner sees Chris Tanev and he's like, oh man, bonus, that guy doesn't have a goal. The more unique the assist, the more excited Marner is to give it to you. And Tanev scores, beats Andrei Vasilevsky clean for his first goal as a Leaf. Wrap that one in tape. Not long after, the Leafs cruising down the wing. Yes! Nick Robertson rips it, but now he's day-to-day with a vocal cord injury. Man, last podcast we were talking about, fans after the Panthers game were really hard on Nick Robertson. At times this season, I've been really hard on Nick Robertson. But what's been obvious with Nick Robertson, especially that soft backhand on that 2-on-1 with Nylander the other night in Florida, it's not just that things aren't going his way, because he's working hard. He works hard every game. One thing you can't knock him for is his effort. The confidence is not there. Do you want to see a goal scorer's goal? Nick Robertson shot the puck on Andrei Vasilevsky from this angle. Oh, no. I'm buying Nick Robertson stock. That's only his second goal of the season, but that won't be the last. No. That wasn't just a goal. That wasn't a tip-in. That wasn't an empty netter. That wasn't just some goal. That was an I'm Nick Robertson and my shot is the touch of Thor type goal. You would never believe that a human being who scored that goal only had one heading into that game. Listen, guys are going to come back into this lineup. They're going to have to make lineup decisions, but invest in Nick Robertson stock. That goal was chicken soup for the Leafs fan soul and the Nick Robertson soul. I hope they convert that goal into gas and he wears one of those Bane masks when he sleeps and just breathes in that goal all night. It's what he deserves. And almost exactly 10 minutes later, as the second period is winding down again, go to the net! Mitch Marner finds John Tavares, who sort of has to juggle the puck, and decides to just swat at the thing. On one hand, John Tavares, in a puck battle, wins it. Underrated on the backhand when in tight, scores it. But on the other hand, that shouldn't go in. No, that shouldn't go in. I don't understand it. That probably shouldn't go in, but I don't care. It went in. 4-0 Leafs after 2. Now, this is not the questions segment of the video where I take questions from both Blue Sky and Twitter, but I thought this question deserved to be here. Has Vasi become the new Hank for the Leafs? So for some of you, that's not going to make any sense on account of Henrik Lundqvist is a Hockey Hall of Fame goaltender, and Andrei Vasilevsky is also probably going to eventually be that, but he's been bad against the Leafs, so why would he be Hank? Go look at Henrik Lundqvist's career against other NHL teams. For some reason, the Leafs, not just the Leafs when they were frigging horrible, for the vast majority of Henrik Lundqvist's NHL career, when he was winning Vezinas and had a 990 save percentage, for some reason, the Leafs were his Achilles heel. They were either the worst or second worst team for him over his entire career, and it makes no sense. William Nylander, as soon as he came into the NHL, was basically automatic against the man. So if the question is Andrei Vasilevsky the really good goalie who the Leafs mysteriously just have the number of? Yeah. It would appear so. Dude, it was Game 6 of the 2022 series where Vasilevsky basically just decided, I don't really allow goals anymore. And then he was unreal in Game 7 as well. And right after that, for some reason, the Leafs went, and they just figured the guy out, and he hasn't been able to stop them since. I don't get it. We don't have to get it. 4-0 Leafs. Here's Act 2. All right, about halfway through the third period, Joseph Woll is up to 30 saves and no goals allowed. That's pretty good. Mikey Eyssimont gets away from defensive coverage. Darren Radish finds him, and Eyssimont, who only had 2 goals heading into this game, blasts a perfect one-timer past Joseph Woll, who had been unbeatable. Honestly, tip of the cap. That's a good goal. Lightning are on the board. It's 4-1. But we're not worried. It's okay. Under 5 minutes to go now. The Lightning, they pull their goalie. It's 6-on-5. They got some pretty good players out there. Jake Gensel throws it in front. Oh no. Oh, nuts. We don't like that. It goes off a Connor Timmins skate and in. 4-2. But it's under 5 minutes to go. And you know who I blame? You know who I blame? In the chat for the SDPN stream for this game, because we were streaming this game on SDPN, they said, do you feel more confident with a 4-0 lead with Berube as the coach? What? Why would you put that out there? The answer is yes, but you made me say it out loud. Why? But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Under 5 minutes to go, the Leafs still have a 2-goal lead. This is good. This is good. We have damage to our psyche from the previous regime.
guys, it's good to have a lead in the third. That is generally when you want to have one. Here's where it gets stupid. The Lightning, they have a chance. The Leafs stop it. And after the whistle, Oliver Ekman-Larsson cross-checks Jake Guentzel. That's bad. You can't do that. Anthony Cirelli, member of the Tampa Bay Lightning, swoops in and cross-checks Ekman-Larsson at least as hard as he cross-checked Guentzel, probably much harder. And because the game is so tight and it's late, naturally, Tampa gets a power play. What? That is one of the dumbest, least justifiable calls I have seen in a Leafs game so far this season. There is no situation where any competent officiating crew makes the outcome of that. Ekman-Larsson gets a penalty and Cirelli gets nothing. Listen, is that smart of Ekman-Larsson to do? No. It's a bad penalty, for sure. And you could argue, well, it's not a penalty at all. Okay, let's say it is. Let's say it's a cross-check. You can't do it. There's no snowball's chance in hell they ever call that penalty. Ever, under any circumstances, call that penalty in a 2-goal game late in the third period in the playoffs. Zero shot. But since you're calling it, it's hockey. Like, what's the number one rule? They're going to call the retaliation. Except not against the Leafs. Dude, one of the new guys on the Leafs who has adjusted the most poorly to the Leaf whistle is Ekman-Larsson. Like, and I'm not saying refs have it out for the Leafs. They don't. They don't. However, if you try playing like you're on the Panthers, for example, Oliver, you ain't in Sunrise anymore. They call that now. I don't have a problem with Ekman-Larsson getting a penalty there. I have a problem with Tampa coming out of that with a power play. I think you either call neither of them or both. It's nonsense and unjustifiable to call one of them. What are you doing? And so, naturally, the Lightning get a power play. Naturally, 6-on-4, they score, and like pretty much right away. Another question that I received early that's relevant now, because it went off of Cam Atkinson's foot and in. So, is propelling the puck with a body part legal or not? I'm seeing conflicting opinions. Feel free to demonstrate once again for further clarity. Gladly.
So I think what's important here is the position of the knee. You're referring to Steven Lorentz's disallowed goal against the Washington Capitals, where he went, right? See the knee? There's a bend in the knee. Now, here's what Cam Atkinson did. See, the knee is already bent, but he went, ooh. Do you see? It's a very subtle movement. Ooh. Just in case you can't see my foot, it's, ooh. Like, see what's moving? It's not the knee, right? It's activation of the hip flexor. If you use your hip flexor, it's disallowed, and if you don't, it's fine. No, fine. Do you see?
I don't have a problem with Cam Atkinson's goal counting. I didn't think it was kicked in. Like, based on other rulings that we've seen in the past, that's a good goal. He didn't kick it in. It went off his foot. You're allowed to redirect it and all that crap. I don't even think he really redirected. He just allowed the puck to hit his skate. What I do have a problem with is that ill-gotten power play that makes no sense. Craig Simpson, who's on a national broadcast and like never takes the side of the Leafs like this like aggressively, basically goes, this should have never been a power play. It's true. It's trash and it's garbage, and you better hope the Leafs pull this win off and don't blow a 4-0 lead, because I am going to be upset about it. Luckily, William Nylander puts the puck into the empty net to make it 5-3, because puck don't lie! And the Leafs win 5-3. Questions? We all thought it was going to happen, right? No. Yes. Listen, I'm not going to harp on the Leafs for almost blowing a 4-0 lead, because, okay, 4-1. Oh, well, it's going to happen. 4-2, I don't love it, but Tampa worked hard to get there. 4-3 was garbage. That should have never happened, and the game ends 4-2 or 5-2. Maybe Tampa does get one, right? And then the conversation is totally different, because they made it 4-3. Oh, no. 5-on-5, right? Or 6-on-5. It should have never been 6-on-4. That makes no sense. On this Leafs roster, are there any forwards you'd switch to D or D you'd switch to forward if injuries or whatever hypothetical situation arises? All right, acknowledging this would never happen. Morgan Rielly on the wing. Like, everyone suggests it. Like, Morgan Rielly. There is an alternate reality, right? Where Morgan Rielly is an unreal power forward in this league. He's like Matthew Nyes, seriously. And the other one, I was it Dmitry Filipovich years ago, was like, there's an alternate reality where Mitch Marner is just Quinn Hughes. The Leafs earnestly, like, we thought they were kidding. And then we're like, oh, they mean it? Weirdly. They made Mitch Marner play defense, like, earnestly a few times last year. And I think the weirdest part is he didn't suck. So, like, if the Leafs really had to, they could put Mitch back there, but they actually have, like, extra guys on their roster now, so they don't have to do that anymore. Are we just about done with expecting big point totals or milestones from Matthews and co for now? Winning games has been much more enjoyable than 70 goals or any personal milestone. Okay, well, you can do both. Hey, you know what I would like? Both! I think there's room for the Leafs to win games and for Matthews to score 70. That'd be cool. I will say this. The narrative is, Matthews got all those points or all those goals or whatever, and Marner gets all those goals and Nylander or whatever, but then they still don't get it done in the playoffs. Like, okay, fair enough. I think it should give us more pause that the Leafs last year had a guy who scored 69 goals in the NHL, in not the 1980s. Do you know how insane? He scored 69 human goals last year. The Leafs finished third in their division. He scored 69 goals! They still finished third in the division. That's garbage. What? How bad is the rest of the team if you score 69 goals and you still only finish third? What? I was calling it out on the podcast. I'm like, okay, if he doesn't score 69, like, how do you make that up? And they're not. They're not scoring more goals, actually. It's kind of scary. Some guys are having better seasons. Marner's having a very good season. Willie's having a very, very good season. Tavares is having a much better season. Matthew Nyes is having a better season than he had last year. A lot of guys have gone through slumps. A lot of guys. Domi hasn't scored yet. Robertson has 2. McMahon went through a month-long slump. Tyler Bertuzzi is, on Chicago! The Leafs have made up for it by simply being a better hockey team and being better at defense, and it's weird that also that makes them better at goaltending. They have 2 goalies who are playing extremely well with a team playing better in front of them. It's a beautiful thing. Lastly, are we going to get a player safety video about cross-checking soon? Nope! No. Like, dude, I liked the player safety video that they did recently on the Nyes hit. I thought it was great. It treated hockey fans like adults. The NBA has the 2-minute report, where in the final 2 minutes of every game, they go, here are the calls we got wrong. The other day, there was I think it was Celtics-Raptors. Game-winning shot by the Celtics. There was traveling. And after the game, they went, whoops, there was traveling. Did it change the outcome of the game? No. They're not going to go back and give the Raptors the win. That's not how it works. But it's accountability. You might look at it as, it's window dressing because, yes, you're admitting that you made a mistake, but you're also not doing anything about it. Maybe there's something to that. But it's also the NBA going, there's no gaslighting, right? Because you're watching it going, that's traveling! Oh my goodness, they missed the traveling! And the NBA is going, no, you're not crazy. That was traveling, and, we're sorry. Which doesn't make me feel better, but it actually does. I would like some sort of, not even apology, just an explanation for, hey, here's why Ekman-Larsson got a penalty, and Cirelli did not. My guess is the reason sucks, a lot. But I'd at least like to hear it from an official's mouth, but the NHL has no interest in making those guys available, which means the NHL has no interest in making those guys accountable, which means we're not really being treated like adults, but we're part of the way there because of that player safety video. It's the life of an NHL fan. You take your crumbs as they're given to you. But hey, let's not end on that note. The Leafs friggin' won! 2 things before we go. Number 1, I am doing a book signing in Barrie tomorrow. And if you're watching this tomorrow, I'm doing it today. Steve, which one in Barrie? Stop yelling at me. 33 Mapleview Drive West in Barrie. I mentioned the Barrie part. I will be there from 2 to 4 or 2 to, and whenever the line is done, and they kick me out. And lastly, in the description of this video, new video series. Oh, wow! Now, people have told me that they loved hat picks and dang-its from Sportsnet, and we can't do those anymore because we don't have rights to NHL footage. The Ontario Hockey League, the OHL, where the best hockey players in the world come from, have given us rights to use their highlights in highlight videos. So we have come up with Oh Wow. In the description of this video, you can watch the pilot for Oh Wow. It's the best highlights from, I think it's 2 weeks worth, but we're going to be doing these once a week. Oh Wow, I think it's a clever title. It's better than hat picks. I mean, let's be honest. Drew and I came up with hat picks as a placeholder, and then people were like, oh, this is good. Dang it's as well. Oh, this is it. We like this. We're like, really? Okay. Oh Wow. Check it out. SDPN. For now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. I will see you in Barrie tomorrow, and I will see you on Tuesday at Indigo Spirit First Canadian Place, 1 The Path, downtown Toronto.